Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round 1 of our league tournament that happened at Die Hard Games on January 16th, 2025. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. League Challenge, February 13th at 6 p.m., and League Cup, March 1st at 12 p.m. all Central Time, all at Die Hard Games. Go see more info in this video's description and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. On the left, we have Dragapult. On the right, Ceruledge. Our Dragapult player is going first. Luminion in the active spot. They put a Duskull on the bench and pass. Not very good, since they did not get any of their basic form main attackers into play on their first turn, but Dragapult is definitely a comeback deck. So let's see what the Ceruledge player can do here. Looks like they're taking some shortcuts here, starting off with a Nest Ball and double Earthen Vessel. Okay, I see. So they're playing a Nest Ball and a double Earthen Vessel. Earthen Vessel has you discard a card from your hand in order to search your deck for 2 basic energy. Double Fire were discarded there off of the double Earthen Vessel, so now they're looking for 4 basic energy to put into their hand. Also, a Nest Ball was played, remember, to search the deck for a basic Pokemon to add to the bench. Squawkabilly EX is going to be that basic Pokemon, and this is some fire right here for this player. As they resolve those 3 item cards that were played, next is Ultra Ball, discarding 2 water energy in order to search the deck for a Pokemon, basic or evolution. I imagine it will be a Charcadet or a Origin Form Palkia V. Remember, the Ceruledge EX loves lots of energy cards in the discard pile, as it does more damage based off of the more energy cards in the discard pile. As this Charcadet was found off of the Ultra Ball and put onto the bench here. Now Squawkabilly on that Squawkabilly EX, discarding the hand and drawing 6 fresh new cards. That ability can only be used on turn 1, of course. As our player continues to run through with their fast first turn they're having, this is exactly what the Ceruledge deck is built to do here. With just a pass, maybe another Charcadet in play would have been optimal, but since your opponent didn't put any of their main attackers into play, the basic form on the last turn, you're okay with the single Charcadet here. As our player on the left, the Dragapult player, starts their next turn off with an Ultra Ball, discarding a couple cards in order to search the deck for that Dreepy that finally decides to show up to the party. Fashionably late, is that how all Dreepy usually show up? Let me know in the comments. As our players shuffling up after this Ultra Ball deck search here, and I wonder if they have any other playable cards in hand. They could have a supporter card that they couldn't play on their first turn going first, since they were the player that decided to go first in this match. So there's still hope. No, I don't think I see it. Fire energy attached to that bench Dreepy, and then a pass back over to our Ceruledge player. Let's see, there's an Ultra Ball in hand. There is a Ceruledge EX, so we can evolve and give that Charcadet more HP. But first, bench a second Charcadet. And pass. Okay. Interesting play here, but we'll move forward as our Dragapult player starts their turn now with Rare Candy, allowing that Dreepy to evolve right into the Dragapult EX. No need for the middle evolution with the Rare Candy there. Then the Sparkling Crystal was attached to that Dragapult EX. The Sparkling Crystal, if it's attached to a Terra Pokemon, it makes the Terra Pokemon's attack cost 1 energy less. So that Dragapult could have started swinging this turn if it was able to get into the active spot, but no way to do that, so just to pass back over to our Ceruledge player on the right hand side here. Let's see what they can put together on their turn. There is a way to get back energy from the discard pile in that Night Stretcher, so that's what we're seeing now. Water energy added back to the hand. And Radiant Greninja discards that energy with its ability, Concealed Cards, to draw 2 more cards. Fire energy now attached to a bench Charcadet. It evolves now into the Ceruledge EX. Basic Switch moves that EX into the active spot here. And we got to get a grand total of how much damage it's doing, since we're probably going to see an attack. I can tell you a little more about this Ceruledge EX, and it's Abyssal Flames attack. Its first attack for 1 fire energy. That's 30 plus 20 more damage for each energy card in the discard pile. So we'll have to get a count there to see if we can one-shot this Lumineon V in the active. I know our player is going to try everything they can to do that this turn. And it starts with that Professor's Research. That supporter card has them discard their hand and draw 7 fresh new cards. We need energy cards and ways to get rid of them, or to discard them, let's say. They're doing an energy count now. I think there were 6, 2 waters and 4 fires. 150 damage that would be, assuming my counts were correct with the Abyssal Flames. So they just need 1 more energy in the discard pile to knock out this 170 HP Lumineon V. A 3rd Charcadet put into play now, and it looks like we're just swinging with Abyssal Flames for 150. We'll see here when the players put the dice on. There we go. Yep, just 1 energy short of missing the 1 shot there. Either way, the aggression is put on as our Dragapult player simply benches a Dreepy and passes their turn back over. Having a bit of a slow start, our Dragapult player is. Either way, our Ceruledge player is going to try to capitalize on this. Starting things off with a Radiant Greninja on the right-hand side here. Remember, discard an energy card and draw 2 more cards. Now we're doing 170 damage with that Abyssal Flames. No punish last turn, though, since our Dragapult player had a slower turn. Again. Let's see what else our Ceruledge player can build as they attach a water energy to the bench Radiant Greninja and Abyssal Flames to clean up the KO on the opposing Lumineon V for 2 prize cards, the first 2 of the game here. Dragapult on the left-hand side creeps into the active spot and play resumes there. Now we're going to see some Phantom Diving, as we've got Super Rod and Switch in the hand for our Dragapult player on the left. Remember the Sparkling Crystal, since that pink tool card, a spec tool card attached to the Dragapult EX, when it's attached to a Terra type Pokemon, it reduces that Terra Pokemon's attack cost by an energy of any type. So since Phantom Dive, Dragapult's attack costs 2 energy, a fire and a psychic, you can use that attack for 1 energy of either flavor, so long as that Sparkling Crystal is attack. So we're going to see the Phantom Dive. That does 200 damage to the active Pokemon, and then you can place 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like. All 6 of the damage counters will go on 1 of the Charcadet onto the bench. 200 damage to the active Ceruledge EX, of course, leaving it with 70 HP as the Ceruledge turn starts once again. Top decking their pink card, that Brilliant Blender. That item card allows the player to discard 5 cards from their deck. So 5 energy will be discarded here, increasing the Abyssal Flames output for future turns, and thinning the deck out of the energy cards, leaving all the good stuff in there as a Origin Form Palkia V is put onto the bench now on our right hand side. Deadly combo it is with that Radiant Greninja and the Star Portal V-Star Power ability, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself as our player does a count here to see how much damage they are doing. I don't feel like it's quite enough to KO the Dragapult EX, so I'll let our players do the math here. If they go for a Dragapult KO, then maybe I'll go back in time and recount things, but I'll let our players do the heavy lifting here as they're calculating the Abyssal Flames damage as well as any other plays they maybe should take. Radiant Greninja discards an energy with its ability to draw 2 more cards. As action continues on our right hand side, our Ceruledge side, there is an Ultra Ball, so we can discard more energy if we want, but we need at least 1 fire energy in hand to be able to attach and power up our Ceruledge EXs. We're prepping the dice on the left hand side here, so I think an attack is incoming. Now before an Ultra Ball is played, discarding 2 cards, one of them being a fire energy, and a Nest Ball to search the deck for an evolution Pokemon to put into the hand. They're going to preemptively grab this Origin Form Palkia V-Star to evolve on the next turn. We're shuffling the deck, so maybe not going back into it quite yet. I saw another Ultra Ball and maybe some other cards that could be played. It just depends what our Ceruledge player's strategy is here. You probably just punch this Dragapult as hard as you can. 7, 8, 9, 10 maybe fires, and 4 or 5 waters. So yeah, we are probably very close to the one-shot here. It does not look like they got there, but let me go back in time here and try and see if I can get a count, a more accurate count. Okay. Thank you guys for your patience as I research this here. 9 or 10, 4, 5. Alright, we'll just go with our players' math here, as they both seem to be pretty aware and knowledgeable of what's going on here, and I'll just calculate the damage on these big dice. So we have 310 damage. Wow. 10 short, I believe, of knocking out the Dragapult EX. So Dragapult the tank tanks that hit, and play resumes over on its side on the left hand side here. It is going to take at least 3 prize cards this turn. Boss's orders would be amazing here for our Dragapult player, but instead they have to play this Iono. Both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. That supporter card does. 6 and 4 our players will get in this mid-game here. 6 for the Dragapult player, of course. And oh my gosh, the counter catcher is there. Let's see if our player decides to go for that play as they attach a Psychic Energy to the bench Dreepy. They can play counter catcher to bring up the Squawkabilly EX. No, they're not going for it. Alright, what they could have done, what I probably would have done, was played counter catcher, since that's live, since your opponent has fewer prize cards than you. You can do counter catcher, it acts like a boss's orders, bring up one of your opponent's Pokemon from the bench into the active spot. So for example, they could have brought up that Squawkabilly EX with only 160 HP, and then the Dragapult's Phantom Dive can KO that. 200 damage will KO the Squawkabilly EX, and then the remaining damage counters can be put onto the Ceruledge EX. Oh no, I think they had 70. That's right, they had 70. But I probably still would have done that and took the prize cards while I could and put that Ceruledge EX just 10 damage away from being knocked out, as that's the only attacker established on their side. But don't listen to me, I'm just chilling in the professor's lab watching these games. These are the players playing these games, And the 6 prize cards could have actually, or excuse me, the 3 prize cards were still taken here, so this is still good. Progressing the board state as Phantom Dive cleans up the KO on the active, and the bench Charcadet with 5 energy or 5 damage counters to spare. That looks like 2 were put on to the Origin Form Palkia V, and 3 onto the bench Charcadet. Radiant Greninja flops into the active spot on the right hand side, and play resumes there. With a couple of with all Pokemon on the opponent's side within Moonlight Shuriken range, I think that's the play we're going to go for here on Ceruledge's current turn. Radiant Greninja in the active spot not only has a great ability, it has a great attack in its Moonlight Shuriken. Costs 3 water energy, but that can get paid for in an instant with Origin Form Palkia V-Star Star Portal. First, we're seeing a Pal Pad to shuffle back in a boss's orders and Professor's Research from the discard pile back into the deck with that powerful Pal Pad item card. The Radiant Greninja has a 3 energy attack, but remember, it'll deal 90 damage to 2 of the opponent's Pokemon. So you can clean up the KO on this active and take out a bench Dreepy as well. Alright, energy attached to the bench Charcadet. It evolves into Ceruledge EX. So it's now not being threatened to be cleaned up with Phantom Dive on the next turn. If our Dragapult player can put it together, if our Ceruledge player can put the Moonlight Shuriken attack together here on their turn. I believe they have the Origin Form Palkia V-Star in hand already. Oh, no, that was from another turn ago. Things have changed here. I can't remember if it got discarded or not. It must have, right? No, I guess it could have gotten Iono'd, right? The Dragapult player did an Iono. So Professor's Research is a supporter here for our Ceruledge player, discarding a hand and drawing 7 fresh new cards, and what do you know, they find that Origin Form Palkia V-Star, evolve on the bench there, flip the V-Star marker to use its Star Portal V-Star Power ability to accelerate up to 3 water energy from the discard pile to water Pokemon in play. 2 waters go onto the active Radiant Greninja, 1 onto the bench Origin Form Palkia V-Star. Now our player just wants to build up their board so it can carry them through the rest of this game here, if they can, but it looks like nothing else to do other than attack. Moonlight Shuriken, discard 2 energy from the Radiant Greninja to deal 90 damage to 2 of the opponent's Pokemon. Both dragons taken out there. 90 to the active KOs the Dragapult EX, 90 to the bench Dreepy KOs it. 3 prize cards taken for our Ceruledge player on their turn. With 1 prize left, what can our Dragapult player do to claw back into this game? I don't think Thornton is really popular in the Dragapult EX deck. That's the only way a Dragapult EX could be built, but then you couldn't power it up. It's either way, our Dragapult player is missing the attack this turn, sadly, as they play a Golden Nestball to search their deck for a basic Pokemon to put onto the bench. That Dreepy was found and reestablished now for future turn if the game goes that long. Iono is like the only thing they've got, but there's a couple of attackers on the opponent's bench that are ready to go, so I think our players are just going through the motions here as our Dragapult player plays an Arven. That supporter has them search their deck for an item and a tool to put into their hand. You can get a Buddy Poffin to maybe find more Dreepy, but it's just not looking good with the opponent having 1 prize card left and 2 attackers ready to go, basically ready to go. One of them is ready to go, and that Ceruledge. The Origin Form Palkia V-Star just simply needs a water energy attached to it, and it can start swinging as well. Not for as much as the Ceruledge, but it's still enough to put some pressure on it and take a KO on everything on the opponent's side of the field with its Subspace Swell attack. 60 plus 20 more for each bench Pokemon in play. So the Arven finds the rare candy. That goes into our Dragapult player's hand. Yeah, the more I think about that counter catcher play available on previous turns for a Dragapult player, I think I like them guaranteeing the KO on that active Ceruledge, since that was the only threat I think established at that time. Yeah, so let's see what happens here. Countercatcher is still live, so we could try to stall this Squawkabilly EX. Yep, bring up the Squawkabilly EX with the Countercatcher and hope the opponent cannot retreat. With a huge hand, they've got the energy in hand there. So the Ceruledge player simply needs to attach to this the Squawkabilly, retreat into the Ceruledge EX, and Abyssal Flames for way more than enough to KO the opposing Duskull for the last prize of the game. What do you think of this video and the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.